Hello, we are back with the final round of the Swiss stuff at Florida Regional Championships. Sorry for the word hiccup there. We
The
are
Swiss stuff's good. I mean, it's just
it's
as good
it's
as
great
Swiss round.
stuff. It's great stuff. We have Lightcore versus Gavin Michaels here. Kangaskhan, Kyogre, Cresselia, Talonflame, Smeargle, and Xerneas on Lightcore's side of the field, and Cresselia, Groudon, Kyogre, Amoonguss, Thundurus, and Salamence on Gavin's side of the field. That Amoonguss kind of did work for Gavin in his last game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the last time we saw Gavin's team on stream, the Amoonguss really put in good work. It was Rage Powdering at the right time, Sporing at the right time. Like I said, it's a Pokemon he's really comfortable with as a player.
Do you think Amoonguss will help him out in his matchup against Lightcore?
I can't see as much use for it. I mean, although it does put some decent pressure on Kyogre, he's definitely got to worry about the Talonflame, which does a real number on it. Cresselia could be carrying a Psychic Attack, which does a good amount of damage to it. And Lyco actually has the Smeargle for double sleep. Spore's good, but it's not as good as putting both Pokemon to sleep in one turn.
Yeah, and also potentially Moody, just to rack up those evasion boosts like we saw yesterday during the finals of the PC. Anyways, these two trainers are going to get started. We are going to see a Smeargle Kangaskhan lead from Lightcore, just going straight to it, with a Salamence and a Amoonguss counter from Gavin. I believe this was his lead the last game we saw him.
Yeah, this is definitely a lead he's been using a long time. I don't know if Lightcore knows about the item on the Amoonguss. We did see in a previous game it holds the Lumberry, so it will have an answer to Dark Void, at least for a turn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure coming down from Kangaskhan and Smeargle here. It's an aggressive lead without doing too much damage. It sort of takes control. If you can get Dark Voids down for free, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder, he does have that Lumberry on Amoonguss. He does have Spore. Maybe his counter to Smeargle is just putting it to sleep with that Spore.
Yeah, I think it's almost ironic,
Yeah,
You
it's
try
very
to put me to
ironic.
sleep, but I will pop you to sleep again, and you will not have the answer to it.
Yes.
Both the Megas on the field Mega Evolve, and Gavin opts to just protect the Salamence. Doesn't want it to get put to sleep.
Amoonguss as well, so possibly protecting to stop that Fake Out, to stop that Dark Void, and to preserve that Lumberry for when he could, wake up and just put Smeargle straight to sleep.
Yeah, it's definitely there's nothing that he's worried about setting up from Lightcore's side. There's no Trick Rooms, there's no Tailwinds, so there's no downside to him double protecting there. The only downside, in a way, is he doesn't have it available this turn.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Lightcore proceeds. Smeargle can put both of Gavin's Pokemon to sleep with that Dark Void, but Kangaskhan can't really do a lot of damage to anything on the field. Smeargle reveals its Choice Scarf, I believe. Dark Void went first. Oh, got a speed boost. Thank you. Never mind. Smeargle got lucky with the speed boost there that last turn. Goes first, sets up the Dark Void. Amoonguss goes to sleep, wakes up because of that Lumberry. Salamence also goes to sleep, does not wake up turn one. Kangaskhan free to double edge whatever it wants. It decided to double edge the Amoonguss, probably hoping to pick up a KO on it before it would wake up and, possibly spore the Smeargle. But fortunately for Gavin, he had that Lumberry. He's free to spore that Smeargle, and, provided he gets lucky with a wake-up from that Salamence, he doesn't have as much to worry about. Smeargle picking up the special defense boost and the evasiveness drop.
That's good. I mean, evasiveness down is always nice. If you're using a move with lower accuracy like a Precipice Blades or an Origin Pulse, something like that, that's always nice.
Yeah.
But his Smeargle is asleep, and unfortunately it can't do anything. It can't be Follow Meing, it can't be Dark Voiding. So a pretty good answer to Smeargle. Not one we see often. Most people try and do things before the Smeargle.
Yeah.
But Gavin's decided to just let the Smeargle Dark Void at least once and then pop it back to sleep.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see. It's almost like it's a game between who's going to wake up first, Salamence or that Smeargle.
Yeah, there's definitely, the onus is on someone to wake up. If Salamence can wake up nice and early, put some big damage down, then maybe they'll be alright.
Interestingly enough, we do not see either players make any switches here. Smeargle remains asleep. Salamence has a chance to wake up here. It does.
Wake up.
Picks up the Hyper Voice. So it doesn't do a lot of damage, but certainly breaks Smeargle's sash, brings Kangaskhan down into the red, and Kangaskhan double-edged into Amoonguss's Protect, and Smeargle picked up another speed boost, I believe, and lost more evasiveness.
Yeah, so it's now at +4 speed and +2 special defense, which is why it took the Hyper Voice so comfortably there. The Salamence being awake is huge, though. If he can potentially try and finish it off somehow, maybe get a little higher on the damage rolls, and really take that Smeagol out before it puts the Salamence to sleep again, that'll be a really good time for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting position for Gavin to be in because he really needs to keep attacking that Smeargle, but if it gets lucky with a wake-up here, which it doesn't, that could have been really bad news. Fortunately, Smeargle remains asleep. Salamence goes for the double edge onto the Smeargle, circumventing that special defense boost it received from Moody. Amoonguss went for a double protect. It failed, which means that, it's going to get hit by this double edge. It's not going to do a lot, but it might be enough to pick up the KO, and indeed it is.
Even with the Intimidate from Salamence, it still takes a nice 2-hit KO on Amoonguss.
Yeah.
But that's a perfectly fine trade. Amoonguss was clearly there to deal with Smeagol. That's fine. He's dealt with Smeagol, got it off the field. Amoonguss is good to go.
And, fortunately for Gavin, it almost looks like Kangaskhan is within Hyper Voice range. Not sure if he is going to go for the Hyper Voice here, but given the fact that there's a Talonflame and a Kangaskhan on the other side of the field and that Kangaskhan is still intimidated, why not?
Yeah, I mean, the Kangaskhan really can't do too much. It can maybe try and Sucker Punch to get damage in first. If it doesn't Sucker Punch, though, it's going to get Hyper Voice. Potentially a Tailwind could come out to try and help that and get Kangaskhan going first. But Talonflame's not going to have a good time. We're guaranteed rain now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Talonflame, no matter what it does this turn, unless it's running Protect for some reason, I think it's going to get knocked out. So it's up to Lightcore to decide, would getting chip damage from Brave Bird be more valuable here, or would having a Tailwind for whatever he has in the back be more valuable?
Yeah, I think it's going to have one turn to do something useful. Most likely it's going to just Tailwind and die, which, as we've said earlier, really good if you can then bring in something to sweep immediately with the Tailwind up. Obviously ignores my advice, my sagely wisdom, and just pops a Brave Bird down right off the bat.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lightcore feels like he's been backed into a corner here. It's possible that he went for the Sucker Punch onto Kyogre in addition to the Brave Bird, hoping to pick up that KO. He did, but unfortunately it is just not enough. Kyogre only has 39 HP left, which could come into play if it is running Water Spout over, an Origin Pulse, but, Kangaskhan just got knocked out. Talonflame has maybe 2 HP left, but it dodges the Origin Pulse. So fortunately / unfortunately for that Kyogre, if it doesn't protect that turn, it is probably getting knocked out by that Brave Bird.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see there.
That's not what you want to see there at all.
Yeah, you definitely just wanted to tidy up, and then you were free to really focus in on the Kyogre. Now you have to be aware of both. And I like that Gavin Salamence is still there for him. That's a really good Pokemon. Although it's threatened by the Kyogre, if he can play smartly around that, he'll definitely be in a good spot to go ahead and finish up with Salamence, I imagine.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Lightcore's Kyogre decides to do here. It could be a speed tie issue. I don't know if both these trainers are running fast Kyogre or not, but
yeah, it definitely comes down to what they have in their sets. Does Gavin take Thunder potentially? Who's going to be going first is important.
Really, as long as as long as Lightcore's Kyogre goes before Gavin's, I think there's a possibility that he could at least bring this down to 2-2. Talonflame goes for the Brave Bird into the Kyogre to pick up the KO. I believe the recoil is going to do enough damage to also knock out the Talonflame, so he just traded Kyogre for Talonflame. I'm not sure if that was the best trade given the position he's in. Salamence is free to Hyper Voice Lightcore's Kyogre. Of course, if Kyogre's running Ice Beam, which it is, and it does connect with Salamence, it's possible that it'll pick up the KO. It does easily. So it's Kyogre versus whatever Gavin has in the back. Do you have any guesses?
I mean, considering it's a double Primal team, now is a really good time to bring Groudon and guarantee the Sun. There it is.
There it is.
I think considering Gavin had a couple of, unfortunate turns missed in the Origin Pulse, this is a great thing to bring out. The best thing that the Kyogre can do now is drop Ice Beams on him. It can't be using its water moves, and I doubt it has maybe a ground move or something zany. We've seen
HP Ice on Primal. Maybe Kyogre's running HP Ground.
Who knows? But yeah, I mean it's tough for Kyogre now, especially with the Sun up, but it's not going to fare well against a single target Precipice Blades.
Yeah. So that looks like a good game for Gavin. Really well played there, keeping his Groudon in the back until the very last turn. That's really all you can hope for, when you're playing a definite Kyogre team, keeping control of that weather, keeping the sun in your back pocket the entire time. Like, it's the way to play, and it was really well done by Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin with the double primal team used it to its maximum there, in that at all times he had the right weather he wanted.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to do. You don't want to have your Kyogre out in the sun. He made sure he only had one of his primals out at a time, and that was sort of the control match. That was the win condition that he established early on as well.
Yeah.
With the correct trades. That really sort of pushed him forward at the end.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of skilled players now are choosing the double primal. It's almost like we're kind of entering this metagame where, you can't pick sun, you can't pick rain. You don't want to play that matchup with someone in game, so just bring both and, play it to your advantage.
Yeah, if you can bring both and then, make the right calls at team preview, some games you'll bring both, some games you'll only bring one.
Yeah.
And if you can pick those correctly, then you're always going to be in really good shape. And that's what separates these top players from the middle of the pack players, I think.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to see more top players playing now because we are moving on into Top Cut here. It'll be a Top Cut of 8, and we will have to, take a short stream break to get everybody checked in, to get everybody's team set up, to get the pairings on the board. But we will be back after that with the first round of Top 8, and I don't know about you. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm really excited, and I love this format when it's played in best of 3. We talked about it a little bit last night, but the information gathering is so crucial on some of these Pokemon.
Definitely.
The weird tech movesets, when they get exposed, games 2 and 3 can be so different.
Definitely. All right, well, thank you everybody for watching. We will be back shortly, and see you then.